successful 2-session symposium a couple of weeks ago, and it's all about leadership development, but I wanted Judy to give you some feedback on what the participants told us. So Judy?
As Anita just mentioned, we had a wonderful time at the seminar, and I just want to share.
I'm a senior development manager, and I'm responsible for recruiting, retention, leadership development, some of the climate in our environment. So on a daily basis, I'm mentoring, coaching, responding to questions, ensuring that everyone on my team is doing what they should to make the organization better.
What helped you decide in a career in enterprise computing?
I have a real interest in women and women in the workplace. So I chose sociology because of its study in dealing with individuals in their environment, and management does the same thing. I try to deal with individuals in a management capacity and how they deal with their peers, with the environment. And I decided, probably a couple of years ago, that there was a direct correlation.
What advice do you have for high school students, both men and women, who are interested in the enterprise computing field?
You want to have some understanding of organizational makeup. How do you go about conflict resolution? How do you go about negotiating? You should have some financial courses as well. Communication's very important. And just teaming and the dynamics of that, leadership, and all the things that go with being a good leader are very important if you're going to take the management path.
What are women doing to help other younger women succeed in the field?
Clearly things like the roundtables and the mentoring. And I think just being role models, just showing by example that you can do it. Again, it's not an easy thing to do, but one of the things that's wonderful is that men are struggling with the same conflicts. And it's one of those cases where when you have everybody dealing with the same issues, you get resolutions.
Being a woman, what kind of challenges have you faced during your career in enterprise computing?
When I had finished school, there were a lot of women looking at pursuing careers that they had not been able to do in the past. They were not friendly to women. So I did do social work for a few years, and then I decided that to challenge me, I wanted to do something in industry. So I started with IBM as a college recruiter, because one of the things that I recognized was that in order to have women placed in places where they can make a difference, you had to bring them in. So I was responsible for interviewing and recruiting women in computer science and in engineering degrees.
What kind of role has your family played in your academic studies as well as in your career now?
I'll start with my parents. They were my first role models. They were my first mentors, my first heroes. In fact, they believe there's nothing I can't do, and they still believe that. My husband is, I always say, as much a feminist as I am. He, again, believes that I can do anything I want to do. So to join a company that he was already a part of was very important to me and encouraged by him. And then, of course, I have my sons and my daughters-in-law. And I see them having some of the same objectives and goals as I did and as my husband did. And I'm hoping that when I have grandchildren someday, I can impact their interest in dreaming big and succeeding in anything they do.
What kind of organizations do you belong to, and what kind of role have you played in those organizations?
I've been part of organizations both inside IBM as well as outside. Outside of IBM, I'm the president of a board of directors for the Catherine Street Community Center in Poughkeepsie, and I'm on the board of the Horde Foundation in Danbury, Connecticut, which provides scholarships to minority students.
How do you feel mentoring has helped you personally?
I've always been able to go to certain individuals and inquire, and what you get is honest feedback. In fact, this morning I spent an hour with my mentor, who happens to work in Somers, and I always walk away from there with some good information. And one of the things I keep telling her is that we need to write a book, because everything she asks me to do or suggests that I do, I share with my 13 mentees here.
Looking back at your career, do you feel that you would have done anything differently?
Probably not. Clearly, life is to live. I'm a breast cancer survivor, and so I've always embraced life, but certainly that experience made me realize that everything you do teaches you a lesson. So even when I don't have a good day, I always go home and think, you know what? There was a lesson in what I did or what happened or what occurred. I journal. And so that helps me to put everything in perspective. So probably if someone had said, you could have gone this way instead of that way, I probably wouldn't have wanted to, because there was too much going on in the path I took. And I have no regrets as a result of that.